Hi, this is Sam Lagana with the Los Angeles Rams. Whose house? You're listening to the Los Angeles Rams UK podcast. Undenied worldwide.
Hello and welcome back to another specials of our off-season podcasts with a friend of the show, the LA Rams Stadium announcer, Sam Lagana. Welcome. How are you?
Woohoo! I am still on a 10-day high from Super Bowl 56, and I'm going to do my best to speak my best English here.
Are you on the same high as Mr. Aaron Donald? Because I'm not quite sure that man's sober yet.
No, he's on a very different level. He's been on a whole different level from that night on. I am on a much more calm level, but equally happy.
Well, exactly.
Happy, but
we'll get into that, Sam, and I'll get your feelings on the game in a second. But I want to take it right back to the start, to effectively Super Bowl week, which for you is probably different than most, for the fact that you're not going to be sat in your normal seat in SoFi Stadium. How did that feel building up to the game for you?
You know, when the realization set in, it's a great question, Chris, set in early because I knew that I wasn't going to be announcing the game. I didn't know what role my voice would have. But I was kind of assured that it might be a part of the experience for people, but we didn't really know what that was going to be. So the first experience became that Monday before the Super Bowl. We had a rally on ESPN.
Yeah,
we probably had like 5,000 people at the rally out in the Conejo Valley, and that was with the whole team, and that was really cool, and that felt really, really energizing, really positive, really upbeat, and like someplace you wanted to be. I was excited to be there, you know. And then bright and early the next morning, I was in San Francisco for a meeting for my real job. So by 6:30, I was, you know, in another part of the state, and for the next couple of days. And so I was getting phone calls. So the warm up was already beginning. And then, you know, when I got back to Los Angeles Thursday, I had some folks reach out to me. I got to go to an elementary school that changed the name of the mascot from the Bengals to the Rams, that was kind of fun to see a whole bunch of kids excited about being part of the Rams, and spoke to a bunch of fine people on radio shows, and, you know, talking about what it was going to be like in the City of Angels when we got a championship. And really, it was a team championship. It was so great to see the way it came down, Chris. To see the hard work of Aaron Donald in that. To me, it was like a deja vu moment. I don't know what it looked like, you know, on the worldwide broadcast, but from my seat up in 456 on the north end of SoFi Stadium, sitting with the fans, which was cool. You know, watching Aaron Donald come around to take Joe Burrow down on game day. That was awesome. But really, a Saturday night before the game had never been more calm, Chris. Wow. We just kind of had dinner together and took it easy, my wife and I, and my daughter. And my daughter flew in from Nashville, Tennessee to come to the game with me. And it was great. And then to experience it all, like I said, with that deja vu moment, wrapping Joe Burrow up, just like he wrapped up Jimmy Garoppolo 2 weeks earlier. And I got to call that. That was pretty spectacular. But I think I maybe was announcing the game from my seat and I didn't even realize.
You know what?
Who knows?
That's exactly my next question. And that's one of the questions that came from the guys. How many times did you shout third down during the game and forget where you were? And how much announcing did you actually do?
Such a funny question. I don't know. That's a good question. I should ask my daughter. You know, I don't know how good of a spectator I am, Chris, to be honest with you, because, you know, I'm sort of analyzing the game, right?
Yeah.
When I'm watching the game, I'm trying to figure out what's going on and where are we going and what to look for and how are they setting up and how are we setting up. And then I get kind of excited, but I also get heavily bogged down in stress. I mean, that ball in the middle of the field, had Aaron Donald not come around, I was worried, right? Like probably most of America. And you know, one of the things that pops into the back of the head is I'm not a gambler, never have been, but how these guys in Las Vegas when they set these numbers as to how close the game's going to be. That crosses my mind, like this could finish a 3-point game. How do these guys know? It's just unbelievable. And it was so spectacular to have it all come down that way. It must have been for you, like as a fan in the UK too.
Very much so. It was amazing for us in the UK, and as we've said on here, and it's spoken about a lot, we have to celebrate in silence because obviously my children were in bed, so it was close to between 3 and 3:30 in the morning. So I did wake them, so I got in a little bit of trouble for that. But hey, when can't you wake them? How many people around where you were actually sat in the stadium, maybe through the game, maybe hearing your voice, realised who you were? Or was anybody sort of making and then thinking, I know that voice?
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Most people did not. And it's sort of as the game evolved, people would look at me like, huh. and I'd wave at them, like, hey. And then finally they're like,
I know you.
You're that guy. And I'm like, yeah. And they talk, and then we were talking, but I had a lot of Bengal fans to my left.
Oh, okay.
And there were only a couple Ram fans to my left, but a lot of Bengal fans. And in fact, one of the Ram fans to my left got into it with some of the Bengal fans, where they got into it together. It was joint celebration of their own pride. Fortunately, they both went out for a little while, cooled down. They both came back, and it worked out. And then at the end of the game, they hugged it out, which was really cool. Yeah. And then the people to my right were still some Bengal fans, but a few more Ram fans. And, they got into it. We, once in a while I'd let out a Who's House, and that caught their attention a little bit more.
and it was well heard and that's it. Was that your voice they were using for that, obviously piped in during the game?
Yeah. So what they did is during the game, they ran the Rams got like a 90-second commercial, but what they ran as the commercial was the opening segment from right before we go to game time. We have this really cool film that was developed. The end of the film comes up with a logo, the LA logo, like of the horns as it wraps in, and it's black and white. And I generally let out a one Who's House live at the end of that video. Well, in this case, because I wasn't in the booth, they laid in the Who's House on tape in 3. So, I just went, Who's House?
Yeah.
And the fans picked it up. And then at the end of the game, when we won, they started laying in that audio track of my voice. And that was kind of weird. Like,
I was going to say, how does that feel listening to yourself? Yeah.
Yeah. And they kept laying it in. So I'm leaving, and the last sounds I hear at the Super Bowl are, music of I Love LA and my voice yelling Who's House. And that was kind of cool and surreal at the same time.
Well, you are the voice that everyone knows, so it's got to be in there somewhere, right?
Thank you. I think JB does a great job. And Troy Santiago, all definitely of our guys, everybody really has a good voice in this.
The footage,
including DJ Malski and
definitely
Eric and Anita.
The video that I saw, it was after the 49ers game of JB celebrating the sack, and he's jumping up and down, and it's just brilliant footage. And that's what, obviously it's radio, which he's doing it, which people don't realize how into it he is as well. The same as yourself, you're in the booth, you have to get involved in the game as much as possible to be able to portray obviously what you have to say.
Yeah, there's a sense of emotion that goes into it. I don't sit during a game when I'm announcing, unless I'm like kind of stressed, or if I'm thinking, okay, I got to get my head around something ahead of time. A lot of my job is also looking around the corner as to what's coming, because not only am I, I'm calling every play after it happens, but also setting up what is next. A third down, 2 yards to go, whatever it is. But also I have to be thinking about, okay, coming out of this play, we may be going to a commercial. Where are we going? What is it? A break? Do I have an announcement? Am I laying out? or in like even in the case of that NFC championship, you know, before Aaron Donald came around and took down Jimmy Garoppolo, I was a little nervous, as were many other people, because they had that brilliant, you know, whatever it was, 72 seconds in that game as the last game of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And that really played to their favor. And I certainly didn't want to see that again in the NFC championship. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I got to get my head around this, because if we win the NFC championship, that's an easy celebration. Everybody's going to be into it. We're all going to be fired up. The 40 people that I work with, the producers, the directors, Sarah, Chad, everybody behind me, all of those folks are all going to be thrilled if it's us. If it's San Francisco, nobody's going to be real happy. And yet we still have to pull off a respectful NFC championship, you know, title trophy presentation on behalf of the NFL. And so I wanted to make sure that we did those. But once I saw Aaron Donald take down Jimmy Garoppolo, none of that mattered.
No.
Yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. And that was cool, because then I said, hey, count it down with me. And the whole crowd started counting down 10, 9, 8. And we get to 1. And I said, we're going to the Super Bowl. You know,
and at that point, it was crazy. And again, we were celebrating in the early hours over here in the UK, but we were all celebrating with you definitely on that one. And you're obviously watching the game. You're a fan this time. You're seeing obviously the game go forward. We go into the fourth quarter. Everything's obviously happened as we go into. We go into the fourth quarter, and then Matthew Stafford gets the ball in his hand, and it's the Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp show to take us down the field. One question I got in from the guys, and obviously you're the man with the sayings, you're the man that can basically put it. Is there going to now be a name for that drive, do you think? What can we call that drive now as we obviously see it going forward?
I don't know. I mean, it's, you know, I was watching us. I mean, it was almost the identical play that we ran that got called back, right? You know, it was just, I don't know. I fear to say something just because I don't know if it would stick, right? But you know, it was such a loopy pass to Coop. It was unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
It's
for me, it's the no look drive
into that corner.
It's going to be the no look drive. It's got to be the way that's my name for the drive.
I mean,
it's got to be the no look.
Talking. Did you see the pictures of the guys in Las Vegas recreating the play? Like, yeah.
Well, this is why they've obviously got the relationship they've got, isn't it? That they can do that and they spend that much time together. And it's teammates like each other, but I think they like each other, so they're actually happy to spend time to each other, and you can see that relationship. And that final drive, there was no other people that was the whole reason, obviously, that Matthew Stafford was in the building was to do that drive. And there's no other better person, as we know, as holding the Triple Crown as Cooper Kupp to get that ball. And they just couldn't stop it. It didn't matter what they did, it wasn't being stopped.
No, that's so true. That loop to Coop pass was something special.
Very much so, very much so. And did you then go party after the game?
Oh yes. I was fortunate to be invited to join you know, with the Rams in the post-game celebration, and that was quite something. And you know, to be able to go up and share that experience from the stage with the fans at the celebration, and to be able to thank Stan Kroenke and Kevin Demoff and Les Snead and Tony and everybody who's just really made this thing, and Jason Gannon from Hollywood Park, for everybody who's really done everything to put this together. I try to do that all the time. Even when we were going to the NFC Championship, before I said the countdown, I said, hey, we need to thank Stan Kroenke for not only this building, but for this team. And, you know, thanks to Kevin Demoff and Les Snead and Tony and Jason and everyone who made this possible.
Yeah.
Then I said, let's count it down.
Exactly.
But yeah, we have to thank
Did you
them.
touch the trophy?
Oh yeah, I got to hold the trophy and a couple times, which was just unreal, surreal.
Yeah, very much so.
Surreal.
Not many people got to touch that. And that is exactly a surreal feeling. So, and for someone who's involved so much within the franchise, and as you say, thanking the people, how does that now feel to say that we're world champs?
Yeah, I told my wife over the weekend, I said, I'm not sure all of it's really sunk in.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that, when we open next season and I get to introduce out of the tunnel, please welcome to the field your world champion.
Wow.
Los Angeles Rams.
Well,
boom.
Wow. And we pretty much know that's going to be a Thursday night football as well, right?
Well, I don't know for sure, but that seems to be the tendency that the team that was there gets to open up the year. And so who knows, and who knows what we'll play next season to do that. That'll be a great game where whoever it is, and then awarding the rings and all that kind of stuff is just going to be spectacular.
And they will probably do a presentation, which will you be involved in that in relation to the presentation of the rings?
Yeah, I don't know. I brought, in my case, as kind of a host MC, I may introduce the person who's doing the presentation. That might be the way that it rolls. And that could be JB.
Yeah.
It could be a celebrity, I don't know. It could be Kevin. I don't know. We haven't even talked. We left
the dust settle at the
rally, and that was that.
How far into the next couple of weeks does that happen?
What's that?
The rings. How long do they have to wait for those? Is it? I know they've obviously done they've done the sizing, haven't they?
Yeah, they got to design them. They got to manufacture them. Then they got to. I don't think we see them until that first season game. I don't think.
Okay.
You may get to see the design, but I don't think they're going to be awarded until then. That's kind of the standard here.
Interesting. So we settle it down. Well, I say some people settle it down. There were some people that were highly intoxicated, and we get to the parade. That just looked amazing. The amount of people that came out for the parade, and well, to see Aaron Donald shirtless, anybody would turn up, right?
I was sort of standing behind him when he took that trophy and he lifted it up above his head.
Yeah.
And I had that. There was a cameraman next to me that got a phenomenal picture of it. But I got to see that, and it was like, wow, this is a great picture. And I didn't have my camera open or anything. I was like, oh man. And then like Whit came up and he did something similar, but Whit was wearing 2 t-shirts, and so it was a little different.
But the celebrations that you saw, obviously that went on in there, and then obviously AD ended up on James Corden's show, and then he ended up at the Lakers game. He was just a man in demand, which he now holds the key to the city, right? So he can pretty much go where he likes.
Yeah, he's got such a great spirit, and this whole team is good for the city, and the teamwork. Sean, and what that's another person I thanked was Sean, and what he's done by creating that culture of we, not me, and really allowing people to thrive in it is wonderful.
And I think we've spoken quite a few times on the podcast, and I think the one person, as much as he comes with his hype, that I think actually shows that off more than others was OBJ, because he's come with this stigma around him that he is all about himself and whatever. But when he walked through those doors, you could see whatever Sean McVay had spoken to him about before signing on that contract. He was a different person. And it was so hard to see him go down in the Super Bowl, because I think it wouldn't have been as close as it was if he had stayed on the field. But to see the reaction from him on the touchline, crying, praying during the game, and then the reaction afterwards, I think exactly epitomizes exactly what you said there. It's the we, not me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You guys get to see a lot when you're watching the game on the worldwide television, right? Versus when you're in the stadium, you're sort of trying to figure out, where did OBJ go? Is he coming back? You don't have all the updates when you're in the stadium that you do until all of a sudden the ESPN thing goes and the alarm comes up that OBJ is out for the remainder of the game. and it's like, oh no. And then, you know, you start to think about those things differently, but you don't have the same communication that y'all have on television when you're
No,
there.
it's the
But
trust
all
me.
season
I'd
long,
have
we
rather have
saw,
been there, but I understand where you're coming from.
yeah. But your point is that is the whole we, we not me, that really shows itself every day, all the
Definitely.
time through the season. And I think that was clearly evident all the way through, even into the parade and everything.
Yeah, definitely. So you say you are looking forward to that day of obviously announcing the world champions as we come into the stadium for the new season, and it's going to be an interesting, I think, an interesting off season. There's a lot of contracts to be dealt with. There's a lot of coaches to be dealt with as well, and you're the one sitting in. You never had that call from Sean. You're the one analysing it from up there. Has he not give you that call? Thinking, Sam, you can see the plays. What about coming on the staff? No.
I don't think so. I could probably comment on the play, but I think we want to have somebody else drawing them up. But yeah, I mean, as much as we want to run it all back, right? And running it back will be great. We do now know that the offensive coordinator will be different. We now
Yeah,
know that there will be other things that are different. And hopefully we can get the lion's share of the players back in the cap, you know, playing for a championship again. That would be great. I can't see another team that's in a better position than we are to play for that championship. So let's get after it and get positive about it, because it's all doable, right?
definitely. And
It's not.
I think it shows what the power that we still have with the rumours that then come out with it of saying that AD is going to retire, Sean McVay is going to retire. I think that's people actually scared of what we've got to try and obviously maybe take that away. Who knows?
Yeah, that was like ridiculous. Some of that news was, I think it's people hunting for stories that don't exist,
Yeah,
right? Um, it's like asking every college basketball player at the end of the season, "Are you going pro?" Well, they all can't go pro. Everybody can't leave, and even at the coaching ranks, after doing what he did this year and being as young as he is, I really can't see Sean saying, "Okay, I'm going to call it quits for a while. Let me just hang it up, and I'll come back when I feel like it." That's
yeah.
just not his personality,
No.
and in and it
And
didn't make
seeing the
sense.
kind of person he is, I'm not quite sure his wife would be quite happy for him to stay in the house either.
Well, right, like he'd probably be banging his head, and then he's not going to be home all the time, and it's look, it's all work, right?
Yeah,
And it's all work about great play. And when you've got great play, then it's great work. And they've got great play that's going on. And yeah, we had a tough November, but we overcame a tough November with a great December, January, and wow, was February something special, right?
definitely
And
so.
so it's it's good, and there is just constant change in the National Football League. There's constant keeping people fresh, and that's important.
Yeah,
So we'll see a whole bunch of new guys that are going to try to make it in July, that'll try to make a cut, and even if they make the practice squad, they're helpful to the success of the team, right?
definitely, definitely. And you may potentially have the same opportunity, going to be a slightly different feel to the game. But we play the Chargers at SoFi next year. So you may have a fan opportunity again next season, Sam, in one way or another.
Yeah, you never know how it all what'll come out of everything, right? It'll be interesting. I haven't really spent much time, Chris, looking at next year's schedule. So I think I gandered at it before the season ended, like, oh, well, this is what it looks like. I think I looked at it, honestly. I think I looked at it before the last San Francisco game,
Mm-hmm.
like the what ifs,
Yeah,
and then I've forgotten about it. So I don't even know that I know off the top of my head who we have at home and where we're going, other than our conference rivals,
of
our
course.
division rivals, and that's pretty much it. So I haven't really honestly looked at that. I've been kind of looking at where are we right now?
Very much so, and enjoying that. What does the off season hold for you then, Sam? It's a nice break from it, resting that voice.
Yeah, I've got a great opportunity in that I work at the largest coeducational Catholic college preparatory high school in Los Angeles at Notre Dame High School of Los Angeles, and I serve as CEO and president. So I have a lot of young people who, on a day-to-day basis, is my job to help make their lives better and help them be most prepared for their next steps of their lives. And I love doing that. For 20 years prior to this year, I was at Pepperdine University. So It's a new year. I've got a lot of fresh new things. And so I'm excited about every day that I get to go to the office and try to make life better for 1,250 young people and our faculty and our staff. And as we start to look forward, like, it was kind of cool. We had the rally to win the Super Bowl, and immediately I went to a new softball field that we've never had available to us for our women's softball team. And that was so joyous to me because here since 1983, this school has been a co-ed school, and the women have played on a kind of a subpar field. And we spent about $250,000, and we put in a really super field so that these women have this great opportunity to play softball. So that was really, really gratifying right after holding the Lombardi, but just to see them being really stoked, and they have no idea where I was coming from.
Yeah.
I could be coming from the office, but it was pretty joyous to see that. And I get a lot of joy out of seeing the young people succeed, where they're going to go to college, all those kinds of things.
That's superb. Superb. Well, thank you so much for sparing some of your time and potentially out and about on your lunch break. But no, Sam, you are a friend of ours, and we're always obviously keeping, and we hear it over in the UK. As soon as we hear your voice on a home game, that makes us feel like we're there, definitely. But thank you so much for your time, and you've got to give us one last just to finish it off, right?
All right, Chris, but I want to say thanks to all of our friends in all of Great Britain, in the UK. Thank you for being Rams fans. You don't know where we're going to play next year. Maybe we'll be somewhere in your neck of the woods, but if we are, it'd be great to see all of you or have you all come over again. And thank you for being fans of the Los Angeles Rams in the UK. And I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that we all of our paths get to cross in person. So with that, I offer you this. Whose house?
We couldn't not finish with that. Superb, Sam. Thank you for your time.
God bless you guys. Have a great, great off season. I'll be looking forward to listening to you guys every once in a while. The good news is I understand English, and so it makes it a lot easier.
Take care. Stay safe.
God bless. We'll see you guys. Say hi to the Queen.